rubber. You know, when he seems like he falls into trouble, a lot of guys want to go a little bit harder. He changes speeds extremely well, and hopefully he can do that here tonight against the Indians.
Ben Francisco getting things started for Cleveland. And the first pitch misses inside.
Swarzak has some sink on his fastball. He'll mix in a curveball, a slider, and a changeup. Works straight over the top.
And now 1-1. Despite all the injuries that Cleveland has had, this is a critical part of the schedule for them. Last night's game started a stretch of 9 straight games against teams within the division. And for a team that's been in last place almost all year long, they need to start making up some ground now.
Eric Wedge right there, the manager for the Indians in his 7th season as manager. A couple years ago, the American League Manager of the Year.
Breaking ball spun foul, still 1-2.
Swarzak, just 23 years old, got called up on May 20th when Greg Breslow was claimed off waivers by the Oakland A's.
Ground ball hit right at Harris. Over to Morneau, 1 down. Northland Ford defense for the Twins, with Michael Kadire still out. Span, Gomez, and Young across the outfield. Joe Creedy back in the lineup. Harris and Casilla up the middle. Morneau at first, and Joe Mauer behind the plate.
Only 19 errors for the Twins. Only the Philadelphia Phillies have made fewer errors than the Minnesota Twins.
Creedy said his injured left knee good enough for him to be in the lineup today. Jamie Carroll takes strike 1. Carroll entered the game when Cabrera left in last night's first inning. Strike 2.
Carroll in his 2nd season with the Indians, 35 years old, originally signed by the Expos back in 1996. A career .277 hitter. More of a utility player, doesn't get a lot of playing time.
Half swing, and he checked on the fastball, 1-2.
Probably will get more playing time as long as everybody starts, keeps staying on a disabled list for the Indians.
If you can get down the stairs without a limp, you're in.
Yeah, you're in.
1-2. Fly ball, right field. Span comes in. Out number 2. Tonight's game on Fox Sports North is also being presented in high definition. For a complete listing of HD cable providers, go to foxsports.com, keyword North.
Saw Denard Span right there kind of go at an angle to get that ball, and he's been such a huge asset to the Twins because where he can play, all 3 outfield positions. He's played in left, center, and now in right in replace of Michael Kadire with that bad finger.
2 down, and here's Martinez, and I don't want this to sound like a sacrilege, but given the years Mauer and Morneau have had, I'm not so sure to this point Denard Span hasn't been the most valuable player on this Twins team. Strike 1 to Martinez because Gomez has struggled in center, at least at the plate. Delman Young has struggled in left. Kadire had been a regular player and a productive player when he's been healthy, but they've had to move Span in different spots, and he, through it all, has remained a very consistent leadoff hitter.
Yeah, he really has. And the MVP for the Indians, probably this guy at the plate right here, Victor Martinez. With guys around him that always protect him, he's still able to put up great numbers, hitting at .351. Hit a home run in last night's ball game.
1-2.
At .351 batting average, 5th best in the American League, behind Jason Bartlett, who's leading, hitting at .373, who's also on a disabled list for the Rays.
2-2. Rays had a scare in last night's game. Longoria left with a hamstring pull, but they say now he's just going to miss a couple of days. They hope not to put him on the disabled list.
So he's day to day.
He's day to day too.
As we all are.
14th pitch of Swarzak's first inning. Off-speed pitch just misses the outside corner, and it's a full count.
And that's what he's been able to do. Just, he's got that fastball, not overpowering. He'll throw that fastball in the low 90s at times, but he's shown a very good changeup. See what he throws Martinez here with the count 3-2. Watch Joe Mauer move outer half of the plate, and he throws the ball right by him.
A 1-2-3 first inning for Anthony Swarzak. Valley 3-2. And here's Ron Gardenhire's Menard's batting order for game 2 of the series with the Indians. Denard Span, Joe Mauer, Justin Morneau, Joe Crede in the lineup and hitting ahead of Jason Kubel. And Brendan Harris, Delman Young, Carlos Gomez, and Alexi Casilla.
Yeah, let's take a look at Burt Blyleven's scouting report on Cliff Lee. Making his 12th start of the year. He has not had a lot of run support. 22-3 last year, a 2.54 ERA. What a difference a year makes. Now, he's had success against the Twins, 7-3 with an ERA under 4 in 16 career starts against the Minnesota Twin organization.
And Span takes a first pitch fastball for strike 1.
Like Justin told Roy Smalley, Lee will try to establish that fastball. He'll mix in a hard slider, curveball, and a very good changeup. And there's 2 straight fastballs right there from Lee. His first 2 starts of the year weren't Cliff Lee type, but over the last 9 starts, Lee has a 2.11 earned run average. But he's 2-4.
In his 6, pardon me.
Get it out.
In his 6 losses, the Indians have scored a total of 7 runs for him.
That's tough.
One and 2. 1-2 to Denard Span. Up the middle and a base hit. So Span gets a breaking ball and gets enough of it to send it up the box for a base hit.
Well, the breaking ball that stayed up a little bit. Again, Lee establishes that fastball, and then the breaking ball staying about belt high. And watch Span right here, how quick he is with those hands and able to hit that ball right back up the middle.
So now Span aboard and Mauer will hit. .350 career average against Cliff Lee, 7 hits, 20 at bats. Last year, Lee was, simply put, the best pitcher in the American League. That's why he won the Cy Young Award. This year, he's the best 2-6 pitcher in the American League.
Yeah, 3.16 ERA coming into the ball game, and that's 7th best as far as lowest ERA in the American League. Zach Greinke with a 1.10 earned run average. You see the first 2 starts, he took him a while to get going, but boy, I tell you what, over the last 9 starts, he has been tough, even though he has not been able to pick up any wins, but 2.
2-0 to Mauer. Yeah, in Lee's first start of the year, he gave up 7 earned runs. And in his first 7 starts last year, he only gave up 4 earned runs. And Mauer pulls the 2-0 pitch, 2-1.
Yeah, that game against the Texas Rangers, his opening day start. And Texas Rangers, they can do that to you. Very powerful lineup. Lee coming off a start 5 days ago against the Yankees. He gave up 3 earned runs in 6 innings. Ended up losing that ball game 3-1.
Right at the second baseman. And a wild throw, and Mauer is safe at first. Well, the middle infield has been a mess for the Indians. With Valbuena there, he started what should have been a double play, and the Indians only get 1. Chu, Francisco, and DeRosa in the outfield. Carroll is played up the middle for the Indians. He's at third. Peralta, Valbuena, Martinez, and Shopik behind the plate. You
need plays like that made behind you to have a good ball game, and right there, that is a tailor-made double play that was not turned. Let's see if the Twins can take advantage of it.
Here's Morneau. Drilled to center. Francisco makes the catch. Mauer needs to retouch, and he won't get there in time. So the Twins get a base hit. Morneau with a line drive turned into a double play. The Indians get a double play despite not getting the one they should have.
Welcome back to Twins Baseball. I'm Robbie Smikowski, and the Cleveland Indians are in last place in the American League Central, and there's probably not a big secret as to why. When you look at their disabled list, 3 of their top 4 hitters are unavailable for duty for an extended period of time. Grady Sizemore's out, Travis Hafner's out, and Asdrubal Cabrera last night was injured his shoulder sliding into second base. He was placed on the 15-day DL with the injury. But when you look at their pitching staff, they're missing Jake Westbrook, one of their top starters. Rafael Betancourt is one of their primary middle relievers, and Aaron Laffey, a guy who already has a victory this season over the Minnesota Twins. So, Bert, maybe we shouldn't be so surprised that they're having their struggles this early in the season in the standings, should we?
No, not at all, Robbie. Thank you very much. You know, Dick, when it comes down to guys, you know, that are on a disabled list, you'd like to miss, well, maybe 1 or 2, but my goodness, the Indians have had a lot of problems trying to keep these guys healthy.
Now, as I understand it, Hafner's A 20-day rehab assignment is up today, but he's not prepared to play every day yet. The Indians have to decide what role he'll play here down the road. Here's a fly to left off the bat of Chu, and Delman Young makes the catch, one away. And so it just keeps getting worse every day. Last night the Indians couldn't get out of the first inning.
Yeah, I say this is the first inning right here. Cabrera got a base hit to start off the offense, and then he takes a hard slide into Brendan Harris. That left shoulder, just a strain, but enough to put him on a disabled list. And Josh Barfield back up with the club for his third time this season.
Here's Johnny Peralta. So Ron Gardenhire has said a number of times over the last couple of days he doesn't like playing shorthanded, and he can look across the way and find an unsympathetic Eric Wedge, who's had to be shorthanded, really shorthanded, for the last couple of weeks. 1-1. Fouled away. 1-2. You don't mind, I'm going to try to talk down here for the rest of the game and not raise my voice, because it seems like every time I raise my voice
it changes.
It escalates. It spikes upward. 1-2. And another foul. Just imagine Barry White doing baseball.
Oh, deep. Swarzak has retired all 4 batters he's faced so far. 1 strikeout of Martinez to end the first.
Breaking ball, tap foul. And Swarzak, in his 3rd major league start, has had the benefit, I guess, of pitching in his home ballpark for all 3 starts. Assuming he gets another start, and there's no reason to believe he won't, the next one will be on the road, probably in Oakland. 1-2. Right over the bag. In fact, it hits the bag, and no play for Casilla. It'll be an infield hit for Johnny Peralta. First hit against the Twins right fielder, or right-hander, and Roy Smalley. Anthony Swarzak's gotten off to a good start again here tonight.
You're right, Dick. And Bert, you've talked about what Anthony Swarzak does well and has done well in his first 2 starts. He's starting off just exactly the same way. Good command of the fastball. He's thrown it on either corner, and when he misses the corner and throws it in the middle of the plate, for the most part, it's been down. But what's really impressive are the breaking balls and changeups that he's willing to throw at just about any count and any number of times in a row that really has these guys off balance.
You know, you can, Robbie did something, Roy, on adjusting. Hitters will adjust to him, but as a pitcher, someone that pitched a long time like I did, I always went out there and I found out what was working for me that day. And it was the hitters that had to make the adjustment to the stuff I had. Once I found out, that I've got a good fastball, good control, or my curveball's a little bit better today than it was maybe my last start. Now the hitters have to adjust, and that's what the hitters are trying to do right here against Swarzak, especially the Indian hitters that have never seen him live. You can look all the video you want, but they've never seen him in person. Is that true, Roy?
That's really a good point, Bert, and even if you have seen a pitcher, even if a hitter had a pretty good plan against you or anybody else, if you as a pitcher or another pitcher changed your normal stuff because you liked one pitch or 2 pitches better than another, we hitters had to make an adjustment to that.
Bouncer to third. Creedy fires to second, and Casilla can't quite get it over to first in time. Good play, though, to get the lead runner at second for the second out.
Well, it's a great play by Joe Creedy and a quick turn right there by Casilla. But Creedy had to come in for this ball, and it was his momentum going toward home plate, still able to get something on it on the throw. DeRosa right here, a little hop, and Creedy, good strong throw, and Casilla almost turned a double play. I always thought, when I was with the Cleveland Indians, we had a relief pitcher, Dennis Llewellyn, and Pat Corrales was going over hitters, and Roy would enjoy this. And Well, I don't know who the hitter was, whoever it was, and he said, this guy is a good breaking ball hitter. And Dennis Llewellyn said, well, then I can throw my breaking ball because it's not a good one. End of meeting.
Hey, I just have to mention again, I expand on what you said, Bert. Terrific play by Joe Creedy. So many times you'll see an infielder, even in the major leagues, take kind of a safety first approach. And Joe could have very easily been justified in just throwing that, making that play to first. And he made the tough play to second to keep the runner out of scoring position. Little plays like that, little defensive plays that the Twins make, save an awful lot of bases and therefore an awful lot of runs for this Twins team and pitching staff.
I would imagine Mr. Swarzak quite appreciative of the play that Creedy made.
Yes, very much so.
Pitched to this guy a little bit differently, maybe without a guy in scoring position. 1-1. Just off the plate, 2-1.
Yeah, you always want to get the lead runner. If you're Joe Creedy and you get that play right there, you know, you get the out at second, and then it's up to Alexi Casilla to try to turn the double play. He can't turn a double play if you don't get that out at second. So that's a very, very good defensive play for any infielder. Always get that out at second. If that's a runner at first, get him out at second, and then it becomes the responsibility of the shortstop or the second baseman to take it over from there. And Roy knows all about that. Get the out, and then it's up to the middle infielder to relay it over for the double play.
2-2 to Garco. Garco, one of 10.
He went high.
Yeah, I know it. 10 different players that Eric Wedge has used as a designated hitter, which gives you some idea as to how unsettled his roster has been this year.
We've seen Garco a lot at first, but now with Victor Martinez at first base and Kelly Shopik doing a lot of the catching, Garco's kind of the odd man out. He plays out in the outfield when he's not DHing. And Garco's a guy that they would still look at almost like a Delman Young, that this guy has potential. He just needs some at-bats. Very powerful right-handed hitter.
Full count. And DeRosa will leave early from first. That's a bouncer foul. Swarzak in the spot in the rotation previously held by Glenn Perkins, who's down in Florida. Joel Leppel, Bob Hagman of the Twins. Three and 2. And a two-hopper to Creedy. On target to Morneau. An infield hit for the Indians, and that's all they get off Anthony Swarzak. to Seattle to take on Ichiro and the Mariners. Fox Saturday Baseball returns this week at 3 Central on Fox. Joe Crede back in the lineup. He'll lead off the second for the Twins. Mauer hit a ground ball fairly sharply. Span with a base hit. Morneau lined into a double play. We'll see what the Twins can do against Lee in the second. Ball 1. Crede with a number of nicks and bruises. Fouled back 1-1. Hitting cleanup for a couple reasons. One, Jason Kubel struggling a bit against lefties right now, but Crede too is 10 for 28 in his career against this Cleveland lefty.
Yeah, 357 hitter against Cliff Lee.
1-2.
Lee in his 8th season with the Indians. First came up with the Indians in 2002.
Half swing and strike 3. So Lee gets his first strikeout, and that'll bring up Kubel.
Yeah, that fastball's got some giddy up on it. And Lee, a strikeout pitcher, picks up his first strikeout here tonight and the 55th on the season in 75 1/3 innings pitched.
And now Lee to Kubel. Kubel hitting just 154 against lefties, and Lee hits the outside corner. Overall, though, a very good .309 batting average. Splintered bat, a little roller to first. Martinez to the bag and out number 2. Tickets are on sale for the 2009 autograph party presented by Spire Federal Credit Union. The date for this year's event, June 20th. Ticket purchase now are $30, and remember, the event is sold out the last couple of years. It gets you the chance to get autographs from the current team and a lot of great alums. So call 833 Twins for tickets. All the proceeds will benefit the Twins Community Fund. Here's Brendan Harris. Outside ball 1. Harris, a .300 hitter against lefties. Got a big home run in St. Petersburg to get the scoring started against Matt Garza. 1-2.
Well, Cliff Lee, a left-hander, he works straight over the top. Very smooth delivery.
2-2.
Like the way he attacks to strike zone. Starting pitcher in the All-Star game last year. Made his major league debut against the Twins back in 2002.
People tend to forget it was just last year, but he did last year what Zach Greinke has done this year. He was just as dominant, just as good.
And he's really been good this year. He just hasn't had the run support behind him.
And Harris draws a 2-out walk.
Sometimes in baseball, it's just, you know, it's not how you pitch, it's when you pitch. And Lee has been pitching on days that his offense has not provided him much run support.
Lee has not been the biggest culprit, but in our Chrysler Key stat, you can see the Twins have issued the fewest walks and the Indians have issued the most.
Yeah, those walks, I mean, they're just free passes. They're just, you know, and all of a sudden an extra base hit from Delman Young right here might score Harris. Just let's go. Extra base hit.
Down the right field line, foul by a foot.
Well, I played for Gene Mauch here in 1976 before I got traded to Texas Rangers. And of all the managers I ever played for, he was one that hated pitchers walking guys more than any manager I was ever affiliated with. He just despised it. And Gene was such a statistician as far as, how many leadoff walks score and all that. Boy, that would just frustrate him.
1 strike.
Make them hit their way on.
Well, when you think about it, it allows a batter to reach base without the benefit of a hit. Why then would it be any different than an error? And everybody hates errors. You hit a ground ball to short and the guy boots it. That's an error. And people go, oh, that's terrible. It was a play that should have been made. But when you walk somebody, you're doing the same thing, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I'm sure it drives Carl Willis crazy.
So Delmon Young nearly got an extra base hit. Instead, he strikes out on 3 pitches. Explore Minnesota, taking you to the site of Old Metropolitan Stadium. You can visit exploreminnesota.com and plan your next Minnesota vacation today. The Mall of America, the largest fully enclosed retail and entertainment complex in the United States. 4.2 million square feet of space. On to the 3rd inning, no score. First pitch fouled back by Luis Valbuena.
I've spent a lot of time at the Mall of America when my wife Gail is in, and I'll tell you what, that's a fun place. When my daughter and son-in-law were in with Megan, my granddaughter, we took her out there. A lot of good rides for kids. A lot of fun.
Did you take Megan on any of the rides?
No, I did not. I'll take her on the roller coaster, but she's only 3 years old, so she won't go on there with me. She's not high enough yet. Tall.
Right.
But I don't do anything that spins around.
Really?
No. How about you? You go on those teacups?
No, I did once at Disneyland with my daughter and Hannah, and we had a good time. But I don't respond well to those.
Me neither. I have a tendency to throw up.
Well, that's me too. I just put it a different way.
Yeah, I throw up. Swarzak picks up his 2nd strikeout of the ball game. Good fastball right here. You can see where Joe Mauer's target is, just above the belt.
So 1 down, and here's Shopik. The Mall of America, they have that school bus thing that probably takes you all of about 20 feet in the air.
Cool.
When my kids were smaller, I went up with them. This is pretty high up here, kids. Don't you think we ought to?
Yeah, the kids love it.
Oh, sure.
Why?
The one thing I'd like to do that they don't let adults on, I don't think, is the frog hopper. I think that'd be great for adults, especially after a full breakfast. On the outside corner, 1-1.
And that's the pitch I've seen Swarzak now in his 3rd major league start really control. That fastball down and away, that is the key pitch for any pitcher, is to control the outer half of the plate.
1-2.
Rick Anderson, the pitching coach, watching his young right-hander. Swarzak in his last start, he pitched a good ball game against the Boston Red Sox. He was faced against Josh Beckett. Really made two mistakes, two solo home runs to Jason Varitek. And the pitching staff in general for the Twins over the last 12 ball games combined between the starters and the bullpen, 2.89 ERA. Well, the Twins pitching a lot better.
Two and two to the number 9 hitter. Shopik has been very strikeout prone. Bouncer to short. Harris with a nice pickup. Over to Morneau, 2 down. You can submit a question to us online at carsoup.com/baseball. Tonight the question comes from Tracy, Minnesota. Drew Larson wondering how many Twins have a chance to go to the All-Star game. Joe Mauer leading among American League catchers, significant because he didn't even play the first month of the season. And Justin Morneau third among first basemen.
Well, you have to look maybe Kevin Slowey because of his record right now, 8-1, an ERA under 4.
Right.
Joe Nathan, hopefully he'll get more save opportunities as we get closer to the All-Star break.
Poke to center. And a 2-out single for Ben Francisco. And that'll bring up Jamie Carroll. So Swarzak has given up an infield hit and a line drive single to center. And with 2 gone, he'll go after Carroll. One of the things that might dictate how many Twins players go, the team's overall record. And to that end, it's an important game here tonight for the Twins because they've got a chance, despite their struggles on the road, to get back to the 500 mark tonight.
Yeah, Twins are 20-11 here at home and just 6-16 on the road. Something that they need to improve on because this whole month of June seems like the Twins are going to be on the road.
Total of 9 home games in June. Twins with a chance to maybe pick up another game on Detroit. They're trailing in their game to the Red Sox 4-0. Josh Beckett going for the Red Sox. Up and in, 1-1.
Ben Francisco at first base. He does have 9 stolen bases in 10 attempts. No one has tried to steal against Swarzak yet this year.
One and two.
And Swarzak, not much of a leg kick. He'll use that slide step. And a slide step basically meaning that you won't bring that left knee up to your chest area or belt area. Comes to the set position, looks for the sign, will look over at Francisco at first base. And the quick step toward home plate. And this time he throws over. Again, as a pitcher, all you want to do is make that runner stop, allow your catcher, and that's a good one behind the plate, Joe Mauer, to throw out the potential base stealer if he decides to go.
1-2. In the case of a pitcher like Swarzak, who spent some time in the minor leagues, it's the attention to detail and the ability to hold runners on that might make the difference for a young man like him, making it to the major leagues and staying up here, up high. I mean, we're probably guilty of it as anybody. We talk about how hard someone throws, what kind of stuff they has, but it's the minutia, the attention to detail if you're a pitcher being able to hold Francisco on here at first and denying him a stolen base might be the difference between an earned run or not.
Well, I think it hurt David Huff last night.
Right.
A little flare in the center field.
And Francisco will gain just second base and a pair of 2-out singles here in the third.
The only reason I say that because in the third inning, which when Denard Span stole second, of course he had him in that rundown, but I think he was worried about Span at first, and then he did that slide step to Joe Mauer, and Joe Mauer hit the home run. I think he may have paid a little bit too much attention to Span than just worrying about just throwing good quality strikes. But I thought David Huff pitched a good ball game last night.
Victor Martinez struck out his first time up against Swarzak, but now he's seen him and he comes up here in the third inning in a key spot. And what we have seen from Swarzak in his 2 earlier starts in situations like this, for the most part, the ability to make his best pitches in situations where they are required.
Well, that's a big key right there. Get ahead. Get ahead of a very good hitter. 0-1.
And now 1-1.
And he went with a high fastball. Martinez, 30 years old, from Venezuela. He's in his 8th season with the Indians. Came into this season a career .298 hitter. 2-time American League All-Star back in 2004 and 7 with the Indians.
And now 1-2.
And another good fastball. He struck out Martinez in his first plate appearance to end the first inning. But before that, he threw some very good changeups and made that fastball at 91, 92 look about 96, 97. Now he's thrown him 3 straight fastballs.
1-2 with 2 on and 2 out in the Cleveland third. 2-2.
There's a changeup right there. He just left up. Swarzak made 7 starts down in Rochester before getting promoted. He was 3-4 down in Rochester, but a very good 2.25 earned run average.
And now a full count with Chu on deck. Swarzak got the 8 and 9 hitters. Francisco Carroll has singled. And a full count now to Cleveland's best hitter.
See how he does right here. Does he stay with a fastball? Joe Mauer sitting inside.
Little fly, short center. It's going to die in there for a base hit. A run's going to score. And Gomez will run it back into the infield. So 3 straight base hits to center field. And the Indians have the first run of the game.
Well, Martinez, 39th RBI of the year, just fought off a fastball middle in. And strong enough to hit it over the infield into short center field. Very quick, got the barrel of the bat out. Didn't get the best of wood on it, but enough to flare it into center as Francisco scores the first run.
A trip to the mound by Rick Anderson. First time through the order, just an infield hit against Swarzak. But now 3 straight hits with 2 outs in the first run of the game. Roy Smalley, what's Rick Anderson telling Anthony Swarzak right now?
Well, guys, I think he's telling him, look, you've just gotten in on 3 straight hitters. You've got good stuff. They haven't hit you hard yet. There's 3 flares for 2 runners and a run in. Don't do anything differently. Don't lose your confidence, basically, however he wanted to say that. Keep throwing it in there. You've got good stuff. I'm sure as a young guy, you're not in trouble. Keep throwing it in there.
Up high to Chu.
Yeah, a lot of times pitching coaches will go out too because of the pitches you've thrown that inning. Just give you a little breather. Just get your mind, back on track. Swarzak right now has thrown 23 pitches in this inning.
1-1.
Bert, I've been really impressed with his fastball getting in on guys and having them foul back, be late on fastball. He's not throwing hard enough based on miles per hour that you would think that these guys would be as late as they are. And I think it's because of the breaking balls and changeups he's throwing, and I think he's a little sneaky.
A little bit high, 2-1.
Hey, it comes straight over the top, and what I say, he almost comes out of his right ear. He's not a guy that's three-quarter type. He's kind of right over the top and very quick with his hand. Right like that.
Laced to center. 2-0 Cleveland. 4 straight 2-out hits, all of them right up the middle of the field. And it's 2-0 Indians.
Well, he left that pitch up right there, and Chu did exactly what he should have with a fastball that kind of ran back over the plate. Take a look, the ball coming right out of his ear right there, but that ball, you see the location, it kind of drifted right back into that swing zone, and Chu lined it into center. He picks up his 32nd RBI of the year.
Here's Peralta, got an infield hit his first time up. Strike on the outside corner.
There's two types of two-seam fastballs. Always say he has a two-seam sinking fastball, and Swarzak on that pitch right there, that was a two-seamer that just kind of ran on the same plane. A guy like Nick Blackburn, he throws it and it goes down.
High drive, deep center field. Gomez going back. It's gone. A 3-run home run for Peralta. And suddenly the Indians have 5 runs up on the board.
And somewhere Cliff Lee is doing jumping jacks. Peralta hitting only his 2nd home run of the year. An area that Eric Wedge was kind of wondering, when is that power going to come? And it came on a high breaking ball. And Peralta, a 3-run home run, opens up a 5-0 lead for the Indians. Peralta hit 23 home runs last year for the Indians.
All of this, all 5 hits, all 5 runs, coming with 2 outs in the inning. Ball 1. Now flared to right. And Casilla has it bounce out of his glove. He got there, and the ball bounced out of his glove. So DeRosa reaches, and that'll get Garco to the plate. And they give DeRosa a base hit.
Yeah, they should right here. Casilla went a long way for this ball. He's bouncing around, and he thought he had the ball, and it just tips off the glove. And Casilla gets it back in quickly. So 6 straight hits for the Indians here in the 3rd inning.
So close to getting out of this inning. They're now 6 straight hits. After this series, the Twins will go take on the Mariners, who are worst in this category.
Yeah, you know what? Every game is different. You just don't know, even though the Indians have not had a lot of success with runners in scoring position, but they have here in the 3rd inning.
Garco takes ball 1. R.A. Dickey warming up. One and one.
Oh, you tell yourself as a pitcher in this situation, you cannot do anything about what just happened. You need to get out of this inning right here. But you need to also keep the ball down a little bit. He's starting to leave the ball up. The breaking ball left up to Peralta. DeRosa got a fastball that he just hit off the glove of Casilla.
1-2.
There's a better pitch right there.
And now 2-2. Probably seems like he's been out there for 40 minutes.
Well, this will be his 35th pitch of the inning.
Two and two to Ryan Garco. Tapper to short. And Harris fires to Morneau, and the inning ends. But the Indians, with some clutch 2-out hitting, 6 straight 2-out hits, and 5 runs up on the board for Cliff Lee. Johnny Peralta jump on Anthony Swarzak, put a 5 spot up in the top of the 3rd. And now Carlos Gomez will lead off the bottom of the inning against Cliff Lee. And he takes strike 1. Gomez and Lee last year had a little verbal jousting in one of their games. And that'll trickle foul. 2 strikes. Lee took exception to Gomez bunting in a somewhat lopsided game. But that's a big part of Gomez's game.
There's nothing wrong with that. You're not out here to make friends.
2 strikes. And he does it again. So an easy strikeout for Lee, who smiles as he turns his back on Carlos Gomez.
Well, Lee will get credited with a strikeout right there as Gomez bunts it foul, his 3rd strikeout. And you're right, he did walk toward the foul line, kind of maybe smirking a little bit at Gomez. Maybe said something.
Here's Casilla. That's a chopper foul. Just a handful of at-bats since Casilla's recall, but he swung the bat much more effectively and aggressively from the right side of the plate than before his demotion. 1-1. got to the point, particularly from this side of the plate, it almost seemed like Casilla was feeling for the ball when he was swinging the bat. 1-2.
Good changeup right there by Lee.
A year ago, of course, Gomez and Casilla were forces at the top of the order for the Twins. Now they're hitting 8th and 9th. 2-2. And Casilla shoots it the other way, and coming in to make the catch is DeRosa. Pretty well hit ball for out number 2. And that'll bring up Denard Span. Span has the only hit for the Twins. A leadoff single to center field. Ball 1. Span now 23 hits in 60 at bats against lefties. Just under a .400 batting average. And he's 2 for 2 and has both hits against Cliff Lee.
Again, the quick wrist right here of Denard Span, almost waiting, and then just so gingerly, very quickly, just dropping the barrel of the bat and lining it into right field. Super Span fan club.
And if he gets to the All-Star game, he'll have to have an immense write-in campaign. Here's Mauer, hit a ground ball to Valbuena the first time up. Strike 1. So here are Span, Mauer, and Morneau, 3 left-handed batters, and with Mauer's left-handed batting average now over 300 thanks to his 3 for 3 game last night. Just off the plate, 1-1. The 3 lefties hitting 1, 2, 3 against left-handed pitching have Span now just under a 400 batting average, Mauer just over 300, and Morneau at 447. One and 1. Bouncer right side, gobbled up by Valbuena, and he throws Mauer out to end the inning. To the 4th with the Indians up 5-0. Josh Beckett of the Red Sox took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. And with 2 outs in the 7th inning, Curtis Granderson got a base hit. So Beckett still has a shutout. It's 5-0 Boston now. And Cliff Lee's been given 5 early runs to work with here at the Dome. Much like a few days ago when Francisco Liriano had such a difficult time of it in the 3rd inning, the Twins wanted him to go back out for 1 more inning, and that's what they are asking here of Swarzak. Little pop fly short center. Gomez got a very late break on the ball, and Harris has to make an extraordinary catch in short center field.
I don't know if Casilla lost that ball, but he kind of looked out at Gomez, and that ball's flared into short center field. It was Harris that had to go after it. See Casilla kind of giving way, but Harris may have said, you know, I've got it. He's got to go cover second base. But a nice catch right there. Good concentration by Brendan Harris.
So 1 down, and here is Shopik. Strike 1.
Well, the other day when Liriano in that 3rd inning, he threw 47 pitches, and the Twins sent him out for 1 more. Swarzak, he ended up throwing 35 pitches in the 3rd inning, 10 in the 1st, 25 in the 2nd, and 35 in the 3rd.
Left center, Gomez stumbled. He stumbled in the gap and still made the catch. 2 down. You can follow the Twins on your iPhone and iPod Touch with MLB.com at Bat 2009, featuring play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcasts. Visit twinsbaseball.com on your iPhone or iPod Touch to purchase. 2 down, and here's Francisco. And it was Francisco's at-bat, his 3rd inning single, that opened the door just a bit for the Indians. And before the inning closed out, this one hit down the line, and that's a fair ball. Francisco has his 2nd hit. It was a 2-out single in the 3rd, and now he comes up with a 2-out double in the 4th.
Well, a breaking ball that stayed up right there, and Francisco turned on it, his 12th double of the year. Take a look at the pitch right here, left up. Good piece of hitting right there, dropping the barrel of the bat on it down that left field line. Delman Young gets it back in. Francisco gets his 2nd hit, the 8th hit for the Indians.
Here's Jamie Carroll, and a curveball taken for strike 1. Fastball that covers the outside corner. Across the board, could be a pretty good night again for Ron Gardenhire and the Twins if they can come back and win this game. Tigers are losing, Royals are losing big, and the White Sox are losing. 1-2. This will be the 80th pitch of Swarzak's night.
In his major league debut against the Brewers, he had 7 shutout innings. He threw 98 pitches. His last start, 6+ innings, threw 103. Now Joe Mauer going out to talk to his young right-hander.
One and two. Swarzak to Carroll. Base hit to right. Francisco around third. Span comes up firing, and Mauer safe at the plate. Maurer with the catch of the one-hop throw, and Francisco slid behind him, and it is 6-0. And on the throw to the plate, Carroll goes to second.
Well, Carroll just shooting the ball the other way. Span charging the ball, makes a good strong throw, but it just short hops Joe Mauer. And Francisco with his speed able to get around Joe Mauer. Good strong throw right here, but it just short hops Joe. And right there, even though he looked like he had him tagged right there.
Yeah, that's what I
never
thought.
really had control of the ball as the ball kind of rolled around his glove and then trickled out. So Carroll gets an RBI, just his third of the year on his second hit.
So again, with 2 outs, the Indians do some damage here in the fourth. Strike one. Indians have a total of 9 hits. 8 of them have come with 2 outs. And this seems like, for Cliff Lee, about 4 starts worth of run support. Foul back, 2 strikes.
Boy, he hung that breaking ball right there. Martinez fouled it straight back.
Dickey warming up for the second time tonight. Two strikes to Victor Martinez. Got him. So the inning ends, but the Indians get another 2-out RBI. Us apart. Chrysler. Justin Morneau leading off the Twins fourth, with Cliff Lee now pitching with a 6-0 lead. Strike one to Morneau. Morneau hit a liner to center in the first inning. Nice running catch, diving catch by Ben Francisco, and then Maurer was trapped off first. Ooh, up around the hands, 1-1.
Well, that's what Justin Morneau told Roy Smalley before the ball game about how Cliff Lee will try to pitch him away and then go hard in.
And Morneau pops it foul down the right field line. And behind Valbuena at the bottom of the bullpen mound, the ball lands safely. Another swing for Morneau, and that's not a good idea if you're a left-handed pitcher. The Firestone leaderboard, Iwamura, of course, out for the year. And Morneau second in the league against lefties. One and two. 2-2. On the subject of lefties, Atlanta Braves releasing Tom Glavine today. 305 wins in his major league career. This one pulled to the right side. Martinez will beat Morneau to the bag. One down. Cliff Lee, pretty impressive, Roy Smalley, with a nice mixture of a fastball and a breaking pitch.
He's awfully tough, Dick and Bert, but I noticed something I've never seen before. This is the way he starts every inning. He started it in the first. He's done it every inning. A imaginary pitch off the back of the rubber to get ready to start his warm-ups. And I'd be interested to hear what Bert has to say, but I think Bert's got to love that. He's always talking about throwing downhill, a pitcher bending his back and throwing downhill. I'm going to bet that reminds Cliff Lee every time that I want to get on top and throw down.
And bend my back. You can see the number behind Cliff Lee at 31. And all he's trying to do is he does a very good job of getting to the balance point. Just kind of steps off to the side, and then there's the explosiveness. And then following through by bending your back. And that's why he's been so successful.
2-1.
He creates that good downward plane, and that we always talk about angles. A hitter, you know, when the ball comes in straight, a little easier to pick up. But if you can start up high like Lee does at 6'3" and then tries to shoot that ball down toward Kelly Shopik, creates a great angle.
Creedy swings and misses. 3-2.
Take a look at Lee right there, balance point, and then explode, and guess what? You can't see 31 anymore.
We've talked about this before, not just because of the number he wears, but he's reminded me of a slightly downsized version of a guy you played with, Chuck Finley. Same type of delivery as I recall Finley's.
Just step off to the side right there. Nothing fancy, but get to the balance point.
Grady drives it to left center field. Hit to the gap and caught on the warning track by Chu. 2 down. So 2 away in the fourth. Lee with some words for Creedy as he trots by. The Aflac trivia question: which pitcher holds the Major League Baseball record for most losses in a season after winning the Cy Young?
Wow.
I'd have a tough time nailing this one, or even giving an answer remotely related to the correct answer. There's last night. Now we got all 3 parts of a 3-part answer, so we got the carryover effect. How did Denny McLain do in the 1969 season?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm thinking Lamar Hoyt too.
This one drilled to right, a base hit. Well, Hoyt won it in what, 83, and was traded, I think, the very next year, wasn't he, to the Padres?
Had some problems, and things didn't work out for him.
See what the Twins can do with some 2-out hits. There's one by Kubel, and Harris will come to the plate.
How about Frank Piola? How did he do in he won it in 1988?
You know, he got off to that very poor start because they had the contract hassle.
Right.
And distractions or not, Frank got off to a very poor start in 1989 and then ended up being traded after he got the contract situation settled. Little bouncer to third. And the Indians go the short way. Carroll to Valbuena, and the Twins are down in the fourth.
It is Bill's 50th birthday, Bert. We're in the Minnesota State Lottery Winner's Circle. They took a party bus here, 30 or 40 people, something like that, made the trip from Lakeville for Bill's 50th birthday. Our birthday present to you, Bill. $100 in Minnesota Twins and Minnesota State Lottery tickets. Enjoy those. And look at what his daughter did, Bert. Made the sign, circle my dad, Bert. How does that make you feel, Bill?
I'm very proud of my daughter and my son, who's right down there also. We're having a great time here tonight. It's been a lot of fun. A lot of great friends, family.
Very nice.
We got to get the Twins to score some runs, though.
And they got to get the Twins to score some runs. So congratulations to you and happy birthday, Bill. Bert, what do you think of that?
Hey, happy 50th. Only 307 more days until my birthday. Happy birthday, Bill. And the Twins making a pitching change. R.A. Dickey coming into the ball game. He's making his 14th appearance. And he's been kind of a lifesaver for the Twins in his last 3 outings. His last 3 outings, 4 innings in each outing.
Well, the bad news is the Twins have had too many short starts provided for them. Baker and Liriano have produced a couple of short starts. Now Swarzak, the rookie, turns the game over in the after 4 innings.
Kevin Slowey talking to Swarzak right there.
3-1. It will be Chu, Peralta, and DeRosa facing Dickey here in the 5th. Great stop by Casilla. Throws him out. Similar to the ball that Carroll hit. That one ducked under Casilla's glove. Here he was able to snare it.
A very nice play right here by Casilla. Chu looking for his second hit, but Casilla cutting it off and getting up quickly and able to get him at first base.
Here's Peralta. At the knees with a fastball, strike 1. Knuckler floats over, strike 2.
He got ahead with a fastball, then he goes to that knuckleball. Dickey had a very good month of May for the Twins. In 7 appearances, a 1.86 ERA and 19 1/3 innings pitched. Dickey started the season in the rotation, starting for Scott Baker. When Baker came back, Dickey was out in the bullpen, and he's been there ever since.
And he gets a strikeout of Peralta. 2 down. And that'll bring up DeRosa. Red Sox piling it on the Tigers. It's 10-0 right now. Tampa Bay leading Kansas City 9-0. And Oakland leading Chicago 4-3. The Twins have some coming back to do, but if they can come back and win this game, they can find themselves just 2.5 games out. Two 2-0. It's down the right field line and no play for Span. So Dickey trying to get some order restored to this game. The Indians with a 5-run third and another run in the 4th. 3-1.
Well, Dickey 34 years old. In his first season with the Twins, last year with the Seattle Mariners, came up with the Rangers back in 2001. If he goes to a fastball here, he does.
Greedy charges, gets the second hop, and throws DeRosa out. And Dickey has a good 1-2-3, fifth inning. At the Metrodome in Minneapolis, Robbie Ince-Mikowski, Roy Smalley, Bert Bladov, and Dick Bramer watching Cliff Lee pitch with a 6-0 lead. Delman Young taking strike one. Young struck out looking in the second inning. He's now 2 for 19 with 9 strikeouts in his career against Cliff Lee. And he doinks one to right, a base hit. So the Twins get a leadoff hitter here in the fifth. Go back to our Aflac trivia question. I think you might be right with Frank Viola. I'm going to go with Denny McLain. I think McLain followed up his great 68 season with a good one in 69. Well, you were right with Lamar Hoyt. Gomez takes low, ball one.
Well, Steve Carlton played for those Philly ball clubs when they were not very good. I think the year he won the Cy Young, he won about half the ball games for the Phillies.
Two 2-0.
And Gaylord Perry won a Cy Young in the National League and the American League.
I'm just trying to think of the names on that list.
He won one for the Indians, Gaylord did.
No, you did not play with Lamar Hoyt, but Carlton you did. Jim Perry you did.
Gaylord.
3-0.
And of course, Frankie.
Right. 3-0. The Twins would love to get an inning started here from the bottom of the lineup against Cliff Lee. Get the top of the lineup up with some men on base. 3-1. Gomez threatened to do everything in his first at bat. Threatened to bunt, threatened to slug bunt. Ended up trying to bunt with 2 strikes and fouled it away. Now we'll see what he does here on 3-1. That's down the right field line. And DeRosa makes the catch, 1 down.
Another name on that list besides Carlton and Perry and Lamar Hoyt is Don Drysdale.
Carlos Gomez has something to say to Cliff Lee. And Victor Martinez, to his credit, kept anything from happening. I have no idea what Gomez took exception to.
Well, Lee may have said something like, way to swing away. See, you're making out anyway. I thought he said something to him after Gomez tried to bunt on strike 3. And you can see Lee barking at him right there and saying something. Why didn't you bunt that time? Something like that.
Now Martinez did a nice job stepping in there, making sure nothing happened. Again, this goes back to last year when Lee had some commentary for Gomez trying to bunt, as I recall, with 2 strikes.
Well, Joe West, the crew chief, talking to Ron Gardenhire and Eric Wedge. It'll be an interesting at bat next time when Gomez comes up. I believe they're warning both teams.
Well, see, and why would they do that? This is between one player and one pitcher.
Right. I believe Joe West pointed at both dugouts that they're warned.
Well, here's Casilla with a runner at first and 1 out. And there's strike 1. Casilla lined out to right his first time up. Snap bat and a little dribbler to short. Casilla out. And Young goes to second.
Well, to lead off the 3rd inning right here, Gomez tries to bunt. Now that's strike 3, and Lee, you can see, kind of walking over, and Gomez kind of looking back at him. And I believe I said Lee, it looked like he said something to him then, and then I'm sure when he flew out, Lee, you could almost read his lips say, why didn't you bunt that time?
Now the Twins trying to get one back here in the 5th. The Indians have had a very ineffective bullpen this year. And the Twins with a leadoff single here in the 5th would like to put together a longer inning, but now Lee's gotten 2 outs and he's only thrown 62 pitches.
Yeah, again, he's a left-hander that'll attack the strike zone. 6 pitches in the 1st, 18 in the 2nd, 13 in the 3rd, and 15 in the 4th. And so far only 10 here in the 5th inning. And again, we want to be between 12 and 17 pitches. And normally that will take you through 7 good innings. Unless you're Roy Halladay, then they throw 133, which I think was great. Now see, my philosophy is that pitch count that's up there, we should change it to where it's maxed at 120 rather than 100. Only because the pitchers come back in the dugout sometimes and they look that, you know, I'm at 85 pitches. I only have 1 more inning to go. Where if the pitchers were told, you know what, you can go 120, then they're going to maybe go into the 7th and 8th inning.
You see Span hitting .393 against lefties, 1-1. Well, that was like in the movie Spinal Tap, where they had the amplifier turned up to 11. What difference does it make?
Well, it means a lot to a pitcher if he's looking at 100 pitches that he's going to come out after 1 more inning if he's at 85. Where if they're told, you know, you can go 120, then they can maybe go 2 more rather than just thinking 1.
Bouncer right side, Martinez to Lee covering, and the Twins leave Delmon Young aboard. After his leadoff single, it's still 6-0. tonight, hitting with 2 outs.
Yeah, the Indians kind of opened up the ball game, highlighted by a 3-run home run by Johnny Peralta in that 3rd inning when they scored 5 runs. Cliff Lee has worked 5 shutout innings so far. He's allowed 4 hits, all singles to the Twins.
And we should point out that after the Twins were done hitting, Cliff Lee and Jerry White had a cordial chat about the whole situation right by the first base bag, and nothing serious happened, although you're telling me you saw Joe West warn both benches. So my question to you is, here's R.A. Dickey with a knuckleball. If one wobbles out of control and comes in up and in, how are they going to call him, toss him out of the game?
That one right there. And Garco getting hit right there, but I think Chad Fairchild behind the plate doing the right thing. That's a knuckleball. It looked like a knuckleball right here. Yeah, that's a knuckleball that just gets Garco in the bag. So there's your answer.
A little common sense. Here's Valbuena. And a fastball for a strike.
Valbuena out of Venezuela. I mentioned last night he came over in the Eric Bedard trade. He did not. He came over in that 3-team trade between the Indians, the Mariners, and the Mets. Franklin Gutierrez going over from the Indians to the Mariners.
One and two. Gave you some of the American League scores. The biggest game in the National League. Randy Johnson's waited 20 years to win 300 games. He might have to wait some more. That game's in a rain delay in the nation's capital.
That's not fair.
And Valbuena takes a call, 3rd strike, 1 down. And join Anthony, Marnie, and Roy for a day of thrills live from Valley Fair.
That looks natural, doesn't it? Look at Ron Coomer.
That's in his their green room, I believe, here at. You come out for your chance to be on TV, win prizes, and more. Go to Fox Sports North Facebook page for your chance to win a day in a Soak City cabana at Valley Fair. Quest Twins live from Valley Fair June 12th, beginning at noon. And now Shopik will take first base.
Well, another knuckleball. Shopik really didn't try to get out of the way. Just kind of turned his shoulder right there. Boy, you get on any way you can, especially when you're hitting in the low 200s, and Shopik just kind of takes one for the team right there. And Shopik getting used to being hit by a pitch. 10 times he's been hit so far this year.
And for R.A. Dickey, his 3rd and 4th hit batters here tonight. Fastball, strike 1. Francisco with a pair of hits and a pair of runs scored. In each case, his hits came with 2 outs in an inning. A single that led to a 5-run 3rd, and then a double for the 6th Cleveland run in the 4th. And Dickey with another fastball over, strike 2. Down by the Cleveland bullpen. And behind the bullpen mound. Luis Ayala warming up in the Twins bullpen. And a called 3rd strike with a fastball, 2 down.
Well, Dickey picks up his third strikeout. Second call, third strike this inning. Clipping the outer half of the plate.
So nobody has gotten a hit against Dickey yet. They have been hit twice this inning. Here's Jamie Carroll, who drove in a run with a single to right his last time up. Strike on the outside corner. Obviously, Dickey uses his fastball more than Tim Wakefield does because he has a better fastball, and he's shown pretty good command of it here tonight.
Yeah, very good control of that fastball down in the strike zone.
And the knuckler to right field, and Span with a nice running catch to put an end to the inning. Two batters were hit. They're left aboard. It's still 6-0. And time for the Coors Light Freeze Cam.
Well, all the hits just coming actually in the fourth inning right here. Denard Span right there. Looked like Joe Mauer got a piece of Francisco as he slid across the plate, but never had control of that baseball. And Francisco scores the 6th run of the ball game for the Indians.
And the Frost Brewed Coors Light Freeze Cam. Twins inning here in the 6th, and it'll be Mauer, Morneau, and Creedy. And Lee starts the 6th inning with just 65 pitches thrown. Mauer with a couple of ground balls to second base. Strike one.
Well, 12 of 20 first pitch strikes for Lee here tonight.
Two strikes to Mauer. Twins will face a right-hander tomorrow in the series finale, Fausto Carmona. And then a right-hander, Felix Hernandez, in the opener Friday night in Seattle. Then back to lefties, Jared Washburn and Eric Bedard. 1 and 2. Two and 2. Again, if the Twins could put together a long inning against Lee, that would necessitate his removal from the game earlier. But they've not been able to string anything together against him here tonight. Mauer to left. And that's a fair ball. Chu can't make the catch, and Mauer has a base hit. Third inning where the Twins have gotten a leadoff single.
Well, good effort right here by Chu. That ball sinking away from him, and he's able to at least get there and knock that ball down. Mauer picking up his first hit of the night off of Cliff Lee. That ball gets by him right there. It's extra base hits, but Chu able to knock that ball down as the ball hits the turf and then in and out of the glove.
To this point, every time Lee has allowed a base runner, he's gotten the next batter. And the Indians put the shift on with Morneau at the plate, and he shoots one foul down the left field line. Plenty of room down the third baseline. And he hits it right at the third baseman, who flips to Peralta, and they get the double play. And I think we had this play last night. It will go 5-6-3.
Yeah, last two nights Justin has hit into 4 double plays. It went into in the first inning off that line drive when Joe Mauer took off. Right here you see the shift. It's Carroll right there to third baseman, flipping to Peralta, the shortstop, to complete the double play.
Creedy takes ball 1. One and one. One to trade in baseball today. The Pittsburgh Pirates, just 6 games back, traded Nate McLouth to the Braves for 3 prospects. And at some point, the Pirates are going to have to keep some of their players. Last year, remember, they traded Jason Bay, who was pretty much the face of their franchise for a few years. McLouth, a very good young player, and I don't know, as much as anybody else is or was the face of their franchise, and they traded him today.
Yeah, they made the All-Star team last year. Highly talented young center fielder.
To right field, the Twins get a leadoff single, and yet Lee faces just 3 men in the inning. Holding a 6-0 lead. Tomorrow's series finale features the Meal or No Meal deal, presented by Linwood Pizza and KQRS FM. Order a ticket in the home run porch and get a free Dome Dog and soft drink, or you can opt for $5 off a lower reserve ticket. Call 800-33-TWINS or log on to twinsbaseball.com for tickets. to tomorrow's game.
Well, Anthony Swarzak worked the first 4 innings. R.A. Dickey worked the last couple. Now Luis Ayala will come out of the bullpen, making his 20th relief appearance. He last worked on Thursday here against the Boston Red Sox. 2 shutout innings.
Ball 1.
Ayala's record, 1-1 record. The 1 win coming against the Seattle Mariners. The loss coming against the Toronto Blue Jays.
1-1. Tampa Bay keeping the Kansas City Royals in the slide. Kansas City now losing its 6th straight game, 9-0 tonight.
Yeah, they put Sidney Ponson on a disabled list. Bad elbow. What happened to my Dutch friend?
He blew out.
Yeah.
2-1. It's 10-5, top of the 9th at Comerica Park. Red Sox are batting. Three and 1. Ayala's biggest statistical problem is getting that first batter out. First batters are hitting over 500 against him. So he has not spent a whole lot of time pitching from the windup. Tap foul, 3-2.
Well, he's a right-handed pitcher, relies on a good sinker and then the slider. 22 2/3 innings. He's given up 29 hits, only 7 walks, 13 strikeouts. Ayala in his first season with the Twins, he's pitched at the major league level with the Expos and Nationals and then the Mets.
That's to right field. Span there for the catch, 1 away. 1 gone in the 7th. Here's our Dodge game summary.
Well, 5 of the 6 runs by the Indians came in that 3rd inning. Victor Martinez with an RBI single. Then 2 batters later was Johnny Peralta with a big 3-run home run for the 5-0 lead, and Cliff Lee has taken it from there. He's given up 5 hits, all singles.
Chu fouls it. 1 strike. In case you're wondering, Carlos Gomez would be due to hit 4th in the bottom of this inning for the Twins. Two strikes. It's the second time where Gomez has gotten under Lee's skin or Lee has gotten under Gomez's skin. Maybe a little of both. One and 2 from Ayala to Chu. 2 and 2. One of the things that is in the Twins' favor, and they can't seem to get to or over the 500 mark. Hopefully that'll happen here shortly. Here's a called 3rd strike. Chu is out for the 2nd out of the inning. This is Cleveland's first trip here. The White Sox haven't played here yet. The Twins are 3-0 against the Tigers here. The Royals have only made 1 visit here. They've got a lot of home games coming yet within the division where they played very well.
Yeah, Twins are 10-8 in the Central Division, where the Indians are 9-13 coming into tonight's play. Right back at it now, Ayala.
Creedy picks it up and can't pull the trigger on the throw. Peralta will get an infield hit.
Well, as a pitcher, you're always ready for that ball to come back, and Ayala kind of put the glove down, and the ball deflected off his glove. You know, Ayala's follow through right there. He puts the glove up. It looked like it hit the end of the glove and then deflected over toward 3rd base. So Peralta gets his 3rd hit of the ball game.
Here's DeRosa. Swing and a miss. DeRosa with a single in the third when the Indians had 6 straight hits and scored 5 runs. The biggest hit, a 3-run home run by Peralta. 0-2. Figured if Anthony Swarzak was going to beat Cliff Lee here today, he might be able to give up single runs in a couple innings, but not a 5 spot in 1 inning.
Yeah, those those crooked numbers end up hurting you.
Now second base umpire Paul Nauert coming in to have some words with Ayala about something. Not sure what that was about. Busted bat and a fly ball to center. Gomez comes in to end the inning. So Ayala pitches a scoreless 7.
Baseball on Fox Sports North is brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it. By Dodge. Live strong, live bold, live now. Dodge. Grab life. And by Aflac. We've got you under our wing.
Let's take a look at our Mountain Dew fans of the game. And happy 21st birthday to you, young lady.
Nothing like celebrating your birthday with some Tootsie Pops. Strike 1 on the outside corner to Jason Kubel. A single in the fourth, ending an 0 for 17 skid for Kubel. And that brushed Kubel, and he'll take first base. So the Twins will get yet another leadoff man on against Lee.
Well, again, it's the umpire judgment right here. Lee just going inside, nothing behind this, as both teams are warned. And they got the left forearm of Jason Kubel. So Lee hitting a batter there.
Span led off the first with a single. Young led off the fifth with a single. Mauer led off the sixth with a single. And now Kubel, and the Twins haven't gotten those leadoff batters who've reached so far as third base, much less bringing them around to score. One strike to Brendan Harris. One and one. 80 pitches for Lee. as good as he was last year. Lee was hurt and ineffective the year before. This one dumped down the right field line, and that's fouled by a couple feet. Indians came within a game of going to the World Series, but Lee was not along for the ride.
He's had a lot of abdominal strain issues. He had that a couple times in his career. Actually had a hernia surgery back in 2003. He responded with a 14-game winner in 2004, an 18-game winner in 5, 14 in 2006. Then he had the abdominal strain again in 2007. Then last year won his first Cy Young Award.
1-2 to Brendan Harris. Pulled foul. That abdominal strain is what put Josh Hamilton on the disabled list yesterday, and there's some concern that it's going to be the type of injury as it was the year before when Ian Kinsler, when he ended up having that sports hernia surgery in August and was done for the year. 1-2 to Brendan Harris. Up the middle, base hit. And for the first time tonight, the Twins have a pair of runners aboard, and this time with nobody out, and Delman Young coming to the plate. Time for the Quest high-speed pitch, with Cliff Lee topping out at 94.
Anthony Swarzak topped out at 92. Cliff Lee at 94.
So now Young, who's single to right, leading off the third. And then Gomez in the on-deck circle. Little number. And a double play. Young hit it right off the end of the bat. And Kubel will take third on the double play ball.
Yeah, third double play the Twins have hit into tonight. Yelma hitting this ball over to second, then a quick relay as Peralta shows off his shortstop arm.
So now Gomez 0 for 2 against Lee.
Yeah, I don't see anything happening right here. I think Lee is just going to go right at Gomez. It's going to be Gomez that's going to try to hit the ball into St. Paul.
And he takes ball one. And into center field. Gomez breaks up the shutout with a base hit. Kubel scores, and it's 6-1.
Well, a good at-bat right there by Gomez. Lee tried to go inside, and Gomez hits it into center field. He picks up just his 4th RBI of the year. Getting out quickly and picking up an RBI single as Jason Kubel scores, who started this inning by being hit by a pitch.
Here's Casilla, and he bunts it, bobbled by Lee, fumbled, and everybody's safe. Not a good bunt by Casilla, but Lee couldn't handle it, and the inning will continue.
Well, Lee tried to rush this right here rather than just get the control of the ball. He never got control of the ball. So he tried to rush it, take short hop, the ball getting away, and then tried to barehand it, and then taking his eye off the ball right there.
And a quick trip to the mound by former Twin Carl Willis. Span has a pair of singles against Lee, but Lee got him with a runner at second and 2 out in the 5th.
Lee charged with an error on that bunt by Casilla. And Gomez probably at second saying, you know, that's why I bunt, because you can't field your position.
Again, the comparisons to Chuck Finley. Did you say he was kind of a klutz out there?
I haven't seen Lee fall to cover first base yet. Usually trips over the bag. Chuck Finley did.
Well, here's Span, and suddenly this becomes an important plate appearance here with Mauer and Morneau hoping to hit yet here in the 7th. Strike on the outside corner. Span with a single to center in the 1st, a single to right in the 3rd. Breaking ball, 1-1.
Well, he came into this ball game a 2-6 record in ERA, a very good ERA. At 3.16. His only 2 wins coming against the Yankees. He won 10-2, and then he pitched 7 innings of shutout ball against the White Sox and won that game 4-0.
Span got a high fastball and fouled it straight back. So now 1-2.
Lee with only 3 strikeouts in a ball game. The last strikeout he had started in the 3rd inning when he got Carlos Gomez on that bunt.
Lee has only retired 1 batter this inning. Delvin Young on the first pitch hit the little dribbler to Valbuena, started a double play. Absent that at bat in the middle of this lineup, the Twins would have a bigger threat.
Now, one thing Lee has done good this year, he's not allowed too many home runs. Only 4 home runs allowed in 74 innings coming into this ball game in 11 starts.
1-2 to Span. That's just wide of the bag, and I'm not sure if that had been a fair ball, whether Martinez would have had that ball covered, playing well off the line with Span at the plate. Twins need a gapper here, extra base hit. Double should score 2. Got him with a curve. A big looping curveball, and Lee comes off the mound with just the 1 run allowed.
Well, Casilla right here making a great stop right there. Chu trying to get a base hit. Would have been his second of the ball game, but there's Casilla. Very nice defensive play.
And as we go to the 8th inning, 29,336 the paid attendance. And Ryan Garko will lead things off in the 8th against Luis Ayala. And Ayala slings that first pitch over for a strike. And a sinker down and in. The middle, a base hit. You know, Derek Shelton, the hitting coach, has got to be happy about this. I mean, the Indians have really done a nice job hitting the ball hard up the middle. Hitting coaches, it seems like, are forever telling their hitters, look, hit it hard up the middle. Look where all these hits, or most of them, have been. They've been right up the chute. Garko with a leadoff hit. And here's Valbuena.
11 hits for the Indians.
Valbuena 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. One strike. White Sox are trailing the A's 5-3 in the bottom of the 7th. We're talking about the trade of Nate McLouth. A lot of trade rumors swirling around Matt Holliday of the Oakland A's and how long the A's are going to hang on to him. Oakland 9.5 games back, bounced up the middle and under the glove of Casilla into center field. Casilla on his backhand side had the ball go right underneath. We'll see whether they rule it a hit or an error.
Yeah, that should have been a ball turned into a double play right there. Casilla maybe overran this ball right here. The ball scooted underneath them into center field. And they should, and they have, I believe, given Casilla an error.
And for the Twins, that's just number 20 on the season.
And for Casilla, his 4th of the year.
2 aboard. Here's Shopik. Strike 1. Tigers have lost. Right now the Twins are 3 games back, but they've got some late inning scoring to do if they're going to be able to take full advantage of the Detroit loss. One and one. And Shopik hit for the 2nd time. And they're loaded up with nobody out. The record for being hit by a pitch is held by Garko with 20. And now Ayala has the bases full with nobody out.
Major League history, is it Ron Hunt that was hit the most throughout his career?
I think Biggio passed him, didn't he? Great Biggio. Missing inside.
Well, Don Baylor got hit a lot.
Garko holds the club record with 20 plumps in one season. Here's a liner to left. And Young makes a sliding catch tagging and scoring from third is Garco. And the Indians get a run in the 8th with 1 away.
Well, Francisco hitting it sharply. Nice play right there by Young, picking it off before it could hit the turf. Francisco picks up his 21st RBI. Hellman coming in and able to catch that ball right there. A line drive hit sharply. And Garco tagging up at third and scoring.
Nice play by Young. And here's Carroll with 2 aboard and 1 out. 1 down. One strike to Jamie Carroll. Twins have hit into so many double plays here tonight. We'll see if Ayala can get Carroll to cooperate here. Just missing the inside corner. There's a strike on the outside corner. Hall of Famer Huey Jennings, going back over 100 years with 287 times hit by a pitch.
Yeah, there's Ron Hunt. I knew he was plunked a lot. And Don Baylor 267 times.
Little Tommy Tucker got hit 272 times.
Couldn't have been that little.
1 and 2 to Carroll. You know, I remember Baylor, of course, he just played briefly with the Twins. But the ball would hit him and just drop. He was so solid. It would hit him in the ribs and just drop and lie there in the batter's box. You almost felt sorry for the baseball.
I hit him one time and it stuck like in his rib cage area. He got it out and threw it back to me and ran to first. You got to at least say ow or something.
Guys, I played with Donnie Groove Baylor 2 different times. He was unbelievable. He would stand. He wanted the ball inside. He wanted to pull the ball, Bert, as you know. He was a dead pull hitter, and he wanted to hit the ball to left field all the time. And he would stand with those big arms and big shoulders right on top of the plate, and the ball was either a pitch he was going to swing at inside or was going to hit him.
Yeah.
And he didn't care if it hit him. If the ball was just a little bit inside of what he was going to swing at, he'd just turn a little bit and let the ball plunk him in the shoulder or the ribs or something and just run on down to first.
Yeah, when I got the ball back, I had a big dent in it.
I'm telling you, that body could dent some baseball.
So 2 on, 2 out, and here's Victor Martinez. One and 0. Maybe the best at it in Twins history. Cesar Tovar. I don't know.
Yeah, Pepe would stick his arm out there. He found any way to get on.
Knobloch was good at it. 2 and 0. Martinez drove in the first run of the game with the 3rd straight 2-out single back in the 3rd inning against Anthony Swarzak. And there's a called strike, 2 and 1. Be interested where Martinez ends up playing. He has transitioned, it seems, more and more into a first baseman rather than a catcher. to right center field and won't be caught. 1 run scores. Martinez going to second, and he's in with an RBI double.
He can flat out hit, I'll tell you that. That ball right there, he hit it so hard it had kind of a spin on it. And Martinez with his second hit of the ball game, his 16th double, and the second RBI of the game.
And Ayala, who hasn't pitched much, has a pretty good 7th inning here in the 8th, and error hasn't helped. Indians have added 2 more runs, and Ayala will check out, and Jesse Crain will check in. Tonight, a 2-out double by Martinez, scoring another run, and most of the Cleveland damage has been done with 2 outs. Jesse Crain will try to get that 3rd out here in the 8th.
Yeah, very high ERA for Jesse Crain, making his 19th relief appearance. 14 2/3 innings. He's given up 14 hits with 8 walks, 1 intentional with only 9 strikeouts.
So Martinez at second, Shopping at third, and here's Chu. And Maurer gets most of it, ball 1. The biggest concern for Crain, the number that stands out the most, the high number of walks. 8 of them, 1 intentional in 14 2/3 innings.
Yeah, he just does not have control of that fastball. He's falling behind like he is right now. And another fastball that misses outer half of the plate.
Three and 0, and not close. So Crain walks the first man he faces.
Well, first walk the Indians have taken tonight.
And now Peralta has already hit a 3-run homer and has a pair of singles, comes up with the bases full.
The man thinks he's a bobblehead.
Peralta with a game opening, breaking opening 3-run home run in the 3rd inning. Swarzak was one good pitch away from getting out of the inning with just a couple of runs allowed, but Peralta took him deep with 2 men aboard. And Crain hasn't thrown a strike.
He's really flying open. want to try to keep that left shoulder in for Jesse Crain as long as possible, and you can really see him flying open, and that ball's going all over the place. Roy Smalley, sometimes when a pitcher's out there struggling like that, you almost have to take a pitch or two, do you not?
Yeah, you really do, except that, the base is loaded here. I'd hate to take a fastball down the middle, but I've talked to pitching coach Rick Anderson a lot about a lot of the pitchers, and especially Jesse Crain.
So much for taking a pitch.
Yeah, well, when the base is loaded, you want the first pitch you see, you want to hack at. But Rick Anderson was telling me that Jesse, when he gets out on the mound, he can be just awesome in the bullpen. The ball moving in the strike zone all over the place, sinking and moving, and he gets out on the mound. And Bert, to your point, he just tries to throw too hard, and everything either flies open or straightens out.
Sky to the right side of the infield. Casilla with the catch to end the inning. 2 more for the Indians in the 8th.
Trail 8-0, just 6 outs remaining in their night to try to mount a comeback. But we're coming back right after this game with Quest Twins Live, featuring the Toyota postgame wrap. We'll discuss the unwritten rules and what went down with Carlos Gomez and Carlos Lee. As Dick has been mentioning, this stems back to an incident last year. Our instructional tonight, infield flies, and Ron Gardenhire will react to Cliff Lee's reaction, the defending Cy Young Award winner, and all this brouhaha that we saw tonight between the Twins and the Cleveland Indians. That's all coming up immediately following tonight's game on Quest Twins Live. Guys?
I like that word right there, brouhaha.
Well, Joe Mauer will lead off the bottom of the 8th against Cliff Lee. Through a long top of this inning, no activity in the Cleveland pen. 93 pitches for Lee, and he delivers up and into Mauer.
Yeah, Lee has thrown 122 pitches in a ball game. He's been able to go 8 innings 4 times so far in this season. 1 walk, 4 strikeouts for Cliff Lee. He has given up 7 hits, all of them singles to the Twins.
2-0. Mauer singled to left, leading off the 6th his last time up. 4 times in the 7 prior innings, the Twins have gotten their leadoff man on. 2-1. Three and 1. Borno to follow. Creedy, Kubel, and the Twins hope about 5 others here in this bottom of the 8th inning.
Well, Cliff Lee making his 168th Major League start. He has 78 wins, only 45 losses. He has 7 complete games, 2 shutouts.
Sky, short center. Francisco makes the catch, 1 away.
Well, for a left-hander that has not had a lot of run support, Lee knows what he needs to do. Go out there and put some zeros on the board. He's able to do that in the first 6 innings. And then the offense scored him 5 runs in the 3rd, and he's kind of taken it from there.
Here's Borno, hit into 2 double plays against Lee tonight. 1 strike.
3 of the 4 at-bats, Justin has jumped on that first pitch from Lee. The only time he did not was in the 2nd at-bat, when he finally hit a ground ball to Martinez at first.
Two strikes. Splintered bat, and Martinez over to Lee. Out number 2. Twins head out on the road, and not this upcoming weekend, but the next weekend. West Twins Live will be at Valley Fair. A multi-sport star, Ron Coomer and Roy Smalling at Valley Fair.
3-pointers.
Wow, look at that.
Look out. Guys, we had an absolute ball out there. I'm going to tell you, Cooper and I. You talk about multi-sport athletes. We were doing just about everything, and I realized that the multi-sport aspect of my athleticism has dwindled.
I said we know that Joe Mauer was a multi-sport star, and we just saw that evidence there, or that a film clip there, Roy. Great baseball player, obviously, basketball player, football player, but you seem to really excel at whack-a-mole.
You know, whack-a-mole has always been my Achilles heel. I just never able to quite do that. Coom edged me in that one.
Oh, did he?
I will tell you that I am the Mario Andretti of Valley Fair go-karts.
Oh, really?
Hell yeah. I was really good on driving on the track.
Roy, who came home with the most, stuffed animals?
We didn't take it all the way to the stuffed animal competition.
Okay.
We won a couple that looked like Anthony LaPanta.
Greedy strikes out, and Lee has a very effective.
Hope you threw it away.
Very effective 8th inning.
AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered.
And Joe Mauer has a foul tip hit the side of his mask on the first pitch of the 9th inning. Cliff Lee has been in control. Activity in the Cleveland bullpen might signal that he's at the end of his night's work.
Well, 106 pitches for Lee. We'll see if he goes out for the 9th.
DeRosa takes strike 2.
Good curveball right there by Jesse Crain.
DeRosa, Garco, and Valbuena face Crain here in the 9th. Just off the corner, and it's 1-2. Fouled away. And into the seats. Rafael Perez warming up in the Cleveland pen.
He's either coming in or just getting some work in.
And DeRosa shoots one the other way. Well, again, another Cleveland hit, and I'll have to look through my score sheet here after the game, see how many of the Cleveland hits were pulled. There weren't many of them. And DeRosa goes the other way for a leadoff single here in the 9th.
Well, good job right there, because it was a breaking ball, and DeRosa, not trying to pull it, just went with it and found that hole between first and second. He gets his second hit, and for the Indians, their 13th.
Here's Garco, hit by a pitch in the 6th. Singleton scored in the 8th.
Yeah, you look back, maybe Ben Francisco, the only one that pulled that ball for that RBI double. Or excuse me, double into 4th. Other than that, everything pretty much up the middle or the other way, except for Peralta's home run.
And I guess Martinez pulled that ball into right center field for his double.
Yeah, right.
1 strike to Garco. 2 strikes. Talking earlier about how the Twins seeing the Indians here for the first time. They've had 1 series here with Detroit, 1 series here with Kansas City, and that's been it. Indians have hosted the Twins once. This one will reach the seats.
Nice grab by Johan Santana over there in a Santana jersey. Brought his glove to the ballpark.
Indians will come back here in the middle of August, then again in the middle of September. Two strikes. The Twins will close out the Metrodome and finish the regular season at home here against the Kansas City Royals. First weekend in October. And Garco fouls another one away. Two strikes. And now a ball. One and two from Crane to Garco. Another foul ball. Morneau over for a look.
And the young lady caught it. And she didn't bring her glove. Take that, Santana.
A's beat the White Sox, so everybody in the division losing except, of course, for the Cleveland Indians. Losing or has lost. And Garco finally retired by Crane, 1 away. For more on group tickets, here's Michael Kadire.
One of the best things about Twins baseball is sharing it with others, like with your customers, employees, or colleagues at work. Call us today to book your group at the Dome. Thanks for your support.
And an update on Kadire. He said his injured finger's much better today. The swelling has gone down. Almost certainly won't play tomorrow, but the Twins hope that he'll be able to be in the lineup perhaps as soon as Friday night. You can see he still has a black wrap on the right index finger. 1-1. Sitting next to Dave Prumer and the assistant trainer for the Twins, and Perry Castellano, the strength and fitness coordinator for the Twins. The Washington Nationals have yet to call their game tonight against the Giants. Randy Johnson making his first bid for a career win number 300. Little roller right side. Casilla can't field it cleanly, and Valbuena will have a hit.
Valbuena picking up his first hit of the ball game.
Tom Glavine released by the Braves earlier today. And Jamie Moyer the other day getting his 250th win.
And he's 84 years old.
And got a 2-year deal.
Yep.
Well, here's Shopping. Ball 1. Shopping's been hit by pitches his last 2 times up. One of the things that was really nice for, I'm pretty sure for Gaylord Perry. Here's a drive to left and a base hit, and it'll score at least one more. DeRosa scores. Valbuena will score. And Shopping, who has been struggling and drove in a couple runs with a bloop double last night, hooks a double into the left field corner for 2 more RBI.
Yeah, that double right there by Shopping just means that every Indian in the lineup has at least 1 hit in the ball game. Now with 15 total. He picks up a couple RBIs there, now with 14 on the year.
So 3 hits, 2 runs so far against Crane in the 9th, and here comes Francisco. I'm not sure about Gaylord Perry getting his 300th, but I know in the case of Tom Seaver and Don Sutton that they completed their games and got the final outs themselves, which for such an historic milestone is really the way it should be done. If you had been able to get your 300th win, I can guarantee baseball fans you would have been out there for the final out of your 300th win, right?
I hope so. I believe Phil Niekro also did that.
Did he?
I believe so. I believe he did it against the Toronto Blue Jays.
But I know in Glavine's case, and of course Glavine's not, well, he's retired, I guess, now, or at least he's without a team. His days of completing games were behind him, and he had to wait for the bullpen to get the final outs of his 300th win. Same too, I believe, for Greg Maddux. Sean Hand warming up in the Twins pen, 1-2. But you can't imagine that Randy Johnson will have a chance to complete the game for his 300th win, whether it's tonight or whenever. Casilla throws out Francisco for out number 2.
And on the play, Kelly Shopik moves from second to third.
And that'll get us to Jamie Carroll. Carroll with a pair of hits. A run scored and a run batted in. Strike one. And now 1-1. So the only team to pick up ground in the American League Central, the team that needs it the most, the Cleveland Indians, if they can finish off this win over the Twins. Everybody else in the division will have lost. 1-2. One and 2 to Jamie Carroll. Kubel, Harris, and Young are due up. Very likely they'll face Perez, another left-hander. Curve got him, and that'll end the inning. 2 more for the Indians that they probably won't need against Jesse Crain of the ninth.
Johnny Peralta with 3 hits in a ball game, a big 3-run home run, that coming in the 5-run third inning. And Cliff Lee, he worked the first 8 innings looking for his 3rd win of the year. Anthony Swarzak, not a very good outing, went 4 innings, gave up 9 hits and 6 runs all earned with no walks and 3 strikeouts. So Cliff Lee, who came into the ball game with 2 and 6, and in those 6 losses only had 7 runs scored for him, had plenty of run support here tonight as they have a 10-1 lead going into the bottom of the 9th.
And the Indians are trying to figure out what in the world has happened to Robert Perez.
Well, the numbers on Perez making his 16th appearance, you see the 9 walks in 11 2/3 innings. We talked about Jesse Crane's lack of control, and right there, it's control of the fastball.
Chris Jimenez at first base. And Matt Tolbert is hitting in the DH spot for Kubel. Outside, ball one. So you do what you can in a game like this if you're a manager, and if you've got a day game after a game like this, as the Twins do, and you're probably going to play Matt Tolbert anyway, you run him out there in the ninth inning and get him in at bat. Maybe tune him up a little bit for tomorrow's day game. 2-0. Rafael Perez a couple of years ago when the Indians won the division, came within a game of getting to the World Series. He was about as good as it gets from the left side, setting up for the Indians. 44 games, 60 2/3 innings, 41 hits, just 15 walks, just 23 walks last year in 76 1/3 innings. And nothing has gone right. Gary Wood, the Indians' hope, won't be needed here tonight. 3-0 to Tolbert. And a 4-pitch walk puts him aboard.
Well, usually when you look at somebody that has control problems, it's always the key is the fastball. For some reason, he's lost his release point.
Here's Brendan Harris.
I mean, they sent Perez down back in early May. He just got called up back on May 29th from AAA Columbus. Hoping to find his release point down there. It's tough when you lose that release point. You never know where it is. At the old stadium in Cleveland, could have been in the upper deck. Nobody was ever up there.
The trunk of your car.
Yeah.
Strike one to Harris. Now, remember when we were in Cleveland in the end of April, and we talked last night about it. Tony Sipp was brought in to face Morneau and Kubel. Well, the reason the untested Sipp was brought in, the Indians way back then, over a month ago, had lost any confidence they had in Perez. To come in and forget about getting a hitter out, just throwing it over the plate.
Well, trusting your stuff. Just, basically, Kelly Shopping's not going to move that much. You can see he's sitting inner half, and that ball's down and away. Perez, 26 years old, from the Dominican Republic. This is his 4th season with the Indians, and Carl Willis right there, the pitching coach.
He's had, 22 pitchers that he's worked with this year?
Yep.
Bouncer to short. And Perez gets a double play ball, 2 down.
See, and you trust your stuff and get it over the plate, and good things might happen for you. The 4th double play the Twins have hit into tonight.
Here's Delman Young. Struck out in the 2nd, single to right in the 5th, and then tapped into a double play in the 7th. Strike one. Two strikes. Sure-handed Ryan Henk with a play.
I told him before the game he's going to make a nice play, and that was it right there. So good things are going to happen to you tonight, Ryan. There's Ryan, always smiling.
not a good night for the Minnesota Twins, as evidenced by that expression. The only thing good that's happened is everybody else in the division has lost. And Young strikes out. And the game ends. The Indians have even this series at a game apiece with a convincing 10-1 win. Quest Twins Live is next.